Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. This presentation is about the prophets of the Quran. There are 25 prophets mentioned in the Quran. 1400 years back, when it was revealed, still today, no mistake has been found in the Quran. And if you see, there are many scientific facts mentioned in the Quran. Even today, people are discovering things which are already referred in the Quran 1400 years back. There are 25 prophets mentioned in the Quran. This is Adam alayhi salam, Idris alayhi salam, Nuh alayhi salam, Ibrahim alayhi salam, Salih alayhi salam, Hud alayhi salam, Lut alayhi salam, Shuaib alayhi salam. Ibrahim alayhi salam has two sons. One is Ishmael, one is Ishaq. Through Ishaq we have Yaqub alayhi salam, and on this side we have Ayub alayhi salam and Dhul Kifl. Also we have Yunus alayhi salam, Yusuf alayhi salam, Daud alayhi salam, and Sulaiman alayhi salam. And on this side we have Musa alayhi salam, his brother Harun alayhi salam, Ilyas alayhi salam, Al-Yasa alayhi salam. And on the right side from Sulaiman alayhi salam we have Zakaria alayhi salam, Yahya alayhi salam, and Isa alayhi salam. And the last connection through Ishmael alayhi salam is Muhammad sallallahu alayhi salam. These are the 25 prophets mentioned in the Quran, and that's how they are connected. So I am going to talk very briefly about each of them. This is Adam alayhi salam. He is mentioned in the Quran 25 times in 25 verses. This is Idris alayhi salam. He is mentioned 2 times in 2 verses. He was born in Babylon, as you can see, which is a part of Iraq today. The city name is not there, but that is the city where he was born, close to the river Euphrates. And that city is very important. You will see several prophets were sent from there. So I am going to show you some of the conceptual pictures, because as you know that this Nuh alayhi salam's story is also mentioned in other holy books. So a lot of people researched on it and found out what should be the shape of that boat. This is one of the conceptual shape of the boat, as you can see. And if you see on the right side, because it is a very massive boat, very big size, so Nuh alayhi salam has to balance this boat by hanging very big pieces of stones, as you can see on the right side. Those stones are there. I will show you some of the pictures. And the place where the boat was sitting after the water came down, and this is the approximate size of the boat on the top of the mountain. The boat size is about 550 feet long, 75 feet wide, and 45 feet high, with 3 decks. That is the approximate size of the boat. Based on the parts, I'll show you some of them. And this is the Mount Ararat at the bottom, as you can see, which is in Turkey today. And this, on the right side, there are many people are exploring the areas to find out boat parts, and so many ways they are trying to connect. This is Ibrahim alayhi salam. He is a very important prophet of Allah. He is mentioned 69 times and 66 verses in the Quran. Sometimes you see the numbers are different. The reason being, in some verses his name is mentioned twice. He was born in Ur, near Babylon, in Iraq. Then he traveled through Aleppo, Jerusalem, and came to Egypt, where he got married. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asked him to drop his family in such a place where there is no human being, there is no tree, there is no water, which is Makkah. So he brought his family, dropped his family over there, and went to Jerusalem. Makkah, as you can see the footprints of Ibrahim alayhi salam in Maqam Ibrahim, Abraham's station. And this is the door of the Kaaba, and you can hold the rope and cry to Allah, which is called Multazim, next to the door and the black stone. This is Ishmael alayhi salam. He is mentioned 12 times with 12 verses. As you know that he was born in Makkah. He lived in Makkah. He helped Ibrahim alayhi salam to build the house of Allah. This is Lut alayhi salam. He is mentioned 17 times with 17 verses in the Quran. And there is the reference that he visited Egypt with Ibrahim alayhi salam. Same time. And there are two cities over there, Sodom and Amorah, as you can see, south of the Dead Sea, where he was sent to invite people towards Allah. He worked, talked continuously, long time. Eventually people didn't listen. He asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to punish these people, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala destroyed those two cities. This is Yaqub alayhi salam. He is mentioned 16 times with 16 verses in the Quran. He was born in Ur, and as you know that he has many sons, and younger son was Yusuf alayhi salam. The most handsome person came on the earth. This is Yusuf alayhi salam. He is mentioned 27 times in 26 verses. He visited Jerusalem, Egypt. He became the ruler, as I mentioned, from his childhood, from the well to the jail. And in the jail, he was Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, after all, he is the prophet of Allah. He was able to interpret the dreams. So the king saw some dreams. It is all mentioned in the Quran. This is Musa alayhi salam. He has been mentioned in the Quran 136 times in 133 verses. Book Torah was revealed during his time. He was born in Egypt. He traveled many places. We're going to show you very briefly. As you know that when he was born, Pharaoh, the ruler of Egypt, he found out, he learned that a child will be born who is going to destroy his kingdom. So he wanted to make sure. He was killing all the children, born, unborn. So Musa alayhi salam's mother, she wanted to save him. So she put him in a basket. We all know about it. And the basket started floating like this from the village. It came to the palace of Pharaoh. This is Harun alayhi salam. He is mentioned 20 times in the Quran with 20 verses. He visited Egypt, crossed the Red Sea with Musa alayhi salam. Actually, he always was, most of the time was with Musa alayhi salam in his whole life. Only difference is that he died earlier than Musa alayhi salam. So this is his journey, crossing the Red Sea, and then eventually he died at Mount Hor, which is in Sinai today. That is the place of his grave today. This is Ilyas alayhi salam. He is mentioned 2 times and 2 verses in the Quran. He was born around that area near Damascus, Syria. He traveled, came to Mount Sinai, and returned. And that is the place of his grave probably. It is not identified, but most probably around that area. This is Ilyas alayhi salam. He is mentioned 2 times with 2 verses in the Quran. This is Dawud alayhi salam. He is mentioned 16 times and 16 verses in the Quran. Book Zabur was revealed. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him very beautiful voice. He was born in Ashdod, as you can see, which is Gaza today. And then he traveled some of the cities. And today we have his grave in Abu Ghosh. So this is his journey through Jerusalem, through Ramallah and Abu Ghosh and Jerusalem. This is Sulaiman alayhi salam. He is mentioned 17 times and 16 verses in the Quran. He was born in Jerusalem. As we know that he was very special in the sense that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him a lot of powers. He could hear, he could understand the voice of language of anyone, animals, ants, birds, and he was controlling the jinns. His platform, his throne and his army used to fly in the platform. This is Zakaria alayhi salam. He is mentioned 7 times and 6 verses in the Quran. He was born in Jerusalem. He has spent all of his life in Jerusalem. And his grave is also there. This is Yahya alayhi salam. 5 verses and 5 times in the Quran. He was born in Jerusalem. And then he eventually crossed the Jordan River on the north of Red Sea. And he spent the rest of his life in Damascus, Syria. And his grave is also there. If you go to Damascus, inside the masjid is the grave of Yahya alayhi salam. This is Isa alayhi salam. He is mentioned 25 times in the Quran. This is very important to know that many people do not know, that he is mentioned 25 times in the Quran. Injil, which is the Gospel, was revealed during his time. And he was born in Bethlehem, and then he traveled to many cities. First of all, he traveled through Nazareth, through Gaza, and he went to Egypt. For more information,